Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on KREM News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti. And we begin with this. Coming in new at noon, we are getting some insight into how the defense for Bryan Kohberger will present their case in his murder trial. Kohberger is charged with murdering 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. In new court documents, prosecutors say the defense will argue that someone else could have planted a knife sheath with Kohberger's DNA at the crime scene. Because so many documents in the case remain sealed, we do not know further details about the plans for the defense. It is 1 minute past noon right now. We are going to turn our attention to the forecast and to what's turning into a very rainy, soggy afternoon. We do have a weather impact alert for high winds on the way as well. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick standing by with his big umbrella. Thomas.
Yeah, and the umbrella again just to keep the suit and the tie dry, because when it comes to rain, we can really handle this. This is nothing more than a little bothersome, but when it comes to our weather impact alert days, that we would need something a little bit more severe. And in this case, it's going to be the high winds expected come tomorrow. All part of the same storm system, but while the rain chances wrap up on Thursday, that's when the winds will start to increase quite significantly. But right now, it is all rain. This is the most widespread we've seen it around Spokane and really our entire metro areas all morning long. It started out very scattered, very on and off at times. It was basically hour by hour. But right now, it looks like it's going to rain for several hours just because of how that rain is currently laid out across the inland northwest. A little bit more sparse down towards the Palouse. This is very, very light around Pullman and Moscow. And by the time you get to about Ritzville and then westward, you're running into some drier weather, though, of course, very much cloudy and overcast skies. So you might need the umbrella handy if you're going to be outside for more than a couple minutes here. But otherwise, if you're just dashing between the door and your car, I think you'll be fine. We can handle a few raindrops for today. Again, very wet, very cloudy, very rainy scene out at Coeur d'Alene as it is right here at our South Hill studios. But tomorrow is the more important day weather-wise because the winds will start to get a lot stronger. We're going to be covering just how strong these wind gusts are as it will basically last throughout the entire daytime on Thursday. So a full look at that complete extended forecast is coming up in a few minutes.
Thomas, appreciate it. We'll check in with him in a moment. We are keeping a close eye on stocks here at the noon hour as more countries announce their own tariffs following those put in place by President Trump. Wall Street has been up and down today, and you can see the latest numbers at the bottom right corner of your screen. Natalie Brand has more on the retaliatory tariffs and more cuts, this time to the Department of Education.
President Trump is meeting with the Taoiseach of Ireland today. It comes as the European Union announced it's punching back against new 25% U.S. tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports. The EU says it will impose new duties on U.S. goods, including textiles and agricultural products.
Tariffs are taxes. They are bad for business and worse for consumers.
Imports account for an estimated 25% of steel and about half of aluminum used in the U.S. While the producers of those metals are applauding the president's new tariffs to spur domestic production, other industries are bracing for increased costs. Jim Tobin is the CEO of the National Association of Home Builders.
We've seen some estimates that say that it could be up to $10,000 per home that these tariffs could increase the cost. But we're waiting to see. It's still going to be months before these tariffs truly find their bite and we see the impacts.
The administration is also moving forward with slashing the Department of Education, announcing plans to cut the workforce by nearly 50%. Among the more than 1,300 employees who received layoff notices Tuesday, Dallas-based civil rights lawyer Brittany Coleman, who's also an Education Department employee union leader.
It's very disappointing to know that the work that we do to try to help our students get great educational opportunities was not valued.
The Department of Education says it will continue to deliver programs including student loans, Pell Grants, and funding for special needs students. Teachers groups have slammed the cuts. The National Education Association says the real victims will be the most vulnerable students. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Happening today, the Spokane Public Schools Board will discuss a plan to consolidate district property. The plan includes moving one of its high schools in an effort to lower costs and provide better learning spaces. KREM 2's Regan Gallo has a closer look at this proposal.
Well, in order to save up to $5 million within 5 years, Spokane Public Schools' first phase of their district property consolidation plan involves relocating the district's project-based learning high school, the community school. In January, Spokane Public Schools purchased River Point Building, located in the University District of Spokane.
Really trying to think creatively about making sure that we're being as efficient as we possibly can with every single dollar.
The hope? To move both the administration building and the community school under one roof, while assuming current tenants for an additional $1 million in annual revenue.
Locating a district office in the same building as one of our schools and doing it in a way that isn't just going to save money, we're going to make up to $5 million as a school district.
Originally an elementary building, the community school now serves high school students that have outgrown the space.
Just the idea of being fluid and being able to use the space in whatever way we need is so exciting. We make it work. We turn hallways into recording areas, or we turn a small corner of a room into a conference area.
SPS says Phase 1 would open learning opportunities and space for students of the community school, while also saving over $750,000 annually in operating costs.
But to be able to actually design a space that has media spaces, that have labs, that have different conference areas, it's been a dream for a long time.
SPS says this plan also includes the sale or lease of the community school's current building, the current administration building, and its parking lot across the street. They say this would be an additional $7 to $10 million of revenue. 3 other buildings are under consideration for sale or lease. Those include the Jefferson Building, the ITSC facility, and a warehouse located on Nevada Street. The anticipated timeline would be between 3 to 6 years before the new community school is fully operational. SPS says the first step is the design process. Tonight, that will all be discussed with the SPS School Board. Reporting in the newsroom, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
All right, a big congratulations to the Gonzaga men's basketball team as they come back to Spokane with some hardware from the West Coast Conference tournament that happened in Las Vegas. Last night, Gonzaga took on their conference rivals, the St. Mary's Gales, for the 3rd time this season, and the Zags securing the WCC tournament trophy, winning 58-51. With last night's wins, the Bulldogs secured an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. St. Mary's should still get in with an at-large bid. All right, so of course, the big question everyone wants to know is what seed will the Zags get in the tournament? However, we won't know for sure until Sunday, but here's what some media outlets are projecting. ESPN has Gonzaga as a 7th seed opening against Drake. CBS Sports predicts the Zags will get a 9 seat with a matchup against Creighton, and Bleacher Report is putting the Zags at a 7th seed with a game against UC San Diego. We'll get the official answer on all of it Selection Sunday. You can watch to learn who and when the Zags will be playing right here on KREM 2. Coverage begins Sunday at 3 p.m. Then after the selection show, keep watching for a special edition of KREM 2 News at 4, where we will be live from GU's campus. Of course, lots of reaction.